retreat isn't like where you go and get massages. That's what most people thought, actually. When I went into retreat, most of the Westerners in Canada had no idea what I was talking about. They thought I was going to have a holiday for 4 years. Going on retreat for 4 years? It's like, won't you get tired of like jacuzzis? I guess occasionally somebody who's totally new to Tibetan Buddhism will want to join a retreat, but certainly in Sammy Ling, then they discourage you. So I applied for the retreat, and the first thing they said was, well, maybe you should think about it. They don't encourage you to do this because they know how difficult it is. And then we spent 2 months with the retreat master preparing. He doesn't hide the fact that he's strict, but the truth of the matter is that most of the people who are attacking his methodologies are doing so for spurious reasons. For example, there's this woman I spoke about in a recent video, and she's fallen under spiritual delusion. She thinks she's a dakini. Thinking you are a dakini is an indication you don't understand what a dakini is to start off with. But she thinks she's somebody special. She's on a vendetta, and so she's been going around trying to stories that she might be able to associate with Sammy Ling and Drupal Rinpoche and anybody associated with Tengri Monastery. I mean, some of the names that she's been spouting in her rants, to me, just totally unconscionable that these people could do anything wrong. For example, there's Lama Dawa Purba that she's mentioned in some negative context. I know this man really well. I was in retreat for years with this guy. He's got a really senior role in the monastery. He's the lead chant master, and he's so humble and so kind. He speaks really good Tibetan, and the people from Lhasa, who've got really high level of Tibetan, say, wow, your Tibetan's really good. So he was teaching us colloquial Tibetan, and some of the Chinese students would criticize him, suggesting he'd done things wrong. Tibetan language doesn't follow the grammar. It's kind of colloquial, right? But they would criticize him or laugh at him. He'd never get upset. He'd be like, oh, so sorry. Did I do it wrong? He's that kind of person. And then there's this Geshe Sering. He's a scholar. A humble old man. So learned. So kind. No. Through association, and these people who have developed resentment for their own failings, and they lash out. And it's just what's happening in the world right now with geopolitics, right? We just can't cope with somebody else having a different opinion than us. And we can't cope with not being exceptional or special in some way. And so this is the case with this woman who thinks she's a dakini. As far as I know, then she attended a big conference in Bhutan of scholars, and there were venerable monks from Sri Lanka, Tibetans, Bhutanese, dignitaries, all show up to this big conference. And she got up on the stage and started playing some kind of rave music. And she started saying, come on, everybody, get up and dance. And they were all kind of shocked, right? And so she embarrassed herself publicly. And then because they didn't publish her paper, there's probably a lot of good reasons why they didn't, but primarily they just thought she was insane, right? Then she went on this vendetta. And we have something called the Marpa Translation Society. And so she applied to this society. And my teacher has got one rule, and that is if somebody's like a troublemaker, then he doesn't want them to get involved, especially if somebody's a little bit unhinged or they've got spiritual delusion like this woman does. But he just said, oh, no, thank you. We have enough translators. And that just made her so angry. She thought she'd been scorned. And so since then, she's trying to smear Drupal Ken Rinpoche, my teacher.